Good morning, everyone. My life situation is consisting of humanitarian intervention. The specific topic for this one is called the intervention of mentors in Libya. How the civil unrest that was caused by military dictatorship of Saddam Hussein lead to the humanitarian intervention of NATO, which is it morally correct to kill civilians during intervention because they intervene in using jets instead of men. And also in looking at in the perspective of the Libyans, we can argue that it was caused by the controversy in accepting the obligation of whether humanitarian intervention should be done. So, from the real situation, I came up with this KI, another issue. To what extent is reason used to justify decisions? So, the nature of reasoning. I believe that reasoning consists of, it is the process of logical, it's a process of logical thinking, hence it has to be rational. And there are two types of reasoning, such as inductive and deductive reasoning. I believe that reasoning is a process where you can exchange ideas and come to a conclusion. And you can also gather some facts in order to support your reasoning rather. So my claim for this, for my knowledge is this reason is a process of logical thinking, hence it has to be rational. I believe that NATO intervention in Libya was based on deductive reasoning, and it has to be based on some premises, such as this country that are facing civil unrest requires some help. That is the first premise. And Libya is facing civil unrest, therefore Libya is help. I think I believe that reason does not justify humanitarian intervention, because reason can be influenced by result knowing, such as emotion, in which driven by one's own culture. The theory of utilitarianism, which is the actions in looking at NATO's perspective, their actions are right if they're useful and benefit for the majority, which is their actions benefit the whole people of the Philippines and maybe cause less casualties. Although the intervention benefits the majority of the Libyan, there were some casualties which can be prevented. And the idea of die or not to die, but there is no option for diplomacy. I believe that NATO's intervention in Libya poses a threat for Libyans' life in general. And I think their reasoning is really based on the deductive reasoning, which is they see interpreted the situation in Libya as a problem, civil unrest, therefore they should intervene. And the learning theory of constructivism, which is a theory that explains how knowledge is constructed in the human being when information comes into contact with existing knowledge that have been developed by experiences. I believe that constructivism is based on specific assumptions, such as reality, knowledge, and learning. For reality, reality is constructed through human activity, and knowledge is human product, and therefore it is socially and culturally constructed. And learning is a social process in which it involves human interaction. Therefore, my claim for this one is that learning constructs our understanding to acquire reasoning. Referring back to the illustration, which is that I argue that Nantoists have not experienced intervening Libya before, and based on the constructivism theory, that you have to have understanding from learning in order to reason. Therefore, since they have not have the learning and experience the situation, they have neglected the lives of the Libyan people, in which it was possible to prevent and lessen the casualties. The influence of interpretation and emotion and reason. So, firstly, the interpretation influence on reasoning can be that we interpret things to come to an understanding in order to reason something. Whereas Nato interpreted that the political instability in Libya had reached its limit, and thus allowed themselves to intervene. Not to mention, interpretation can lead to the formation of assumptions, which may cause irrational reasoning. Second one is influence of emotion on reasoning. Our emotion can twist a person's reason in an attempt to justify their decisions, which we can refer this as bias. As an example, we can use the Reda situation again, which is the intervention in Libya was mainly about NATO's sovereignty, which is their belief and culture, to control the international safety, basically based on their bias. However, emotion may complement reason to make rational decisions, as we can take an example of famine in Ethiopia, which is we can base our that, for example, for reason we need to help them in order to we have to help them because they're in a situation where they have no chance to relieve themselves. Therefore, an emotion can come into contact, which is feelings that we are willing to help people, other people, which is empathy. So the implications of my interpretation arguments and perspectives. So the influence of perception and experience. I believe that we see effects by mere reason. The information we acquire from the interpretation of our senses can be either alter the way we usually think or strengthen the way we think about things. And to some extent, experience can be invalid in justifying decisions. And the flaw of deductive reasoning and the absence of evidence. The argument itself could have been the argument about the NATO that they should have, they're basing their reasoning on that they have to help if Libya is under civil unrest. So the argument itself could have been true premises but still have false conclusion. Thus, if reduction goes wrong and there's no longer logical process, such as this example, you see that grass is green, and the second premise is that all green things, we can say that all green things are aliens, therefore grass is aliens, which is illogical. Limited knowledge. I believe that lack of knowledge might form misconception and also cause irrational reasoning. And emotion can also govern our decisions, which is emotion itself is a state of feeling that arises spontaneously, and whereas we also need reason, a logical basis for an action to balance our justification of decisions. And the idea of cultural ethnocentrism, the belief that one's own culture is superior than the other culture, which is, you can see from the NATO's egoistic, that they base their reason on sovereignty and international safety. And we can also argue that the main factor is our conditioning, which is from our society, religion, ethnicity, religionism, and politics. And from another perspective, you can argue that human intervention is not merely about preserving the national safety, which is, we also can consider the aspect of empathy of it, which is the aid of emotion is needed. So, the justification of punishment. The examples, which is death penalties and the idea of domestic violence in family context. So, for death penalty is the idea of capital punishment, that if you kill someone, you have to pay it with your life. My claim for this one is that reason is necessary in justifying justice. However, there are some implications of this claim, which is it can cause prejudice. It is considered to the idea of prejudice in terms of the context of death penalty. The absence of evidence and lack of knowledge can alter the way people justify things. People might have prejudiced beliefs, feelings, and act in a prejudiced way because they are conforming that what is regarded as normal in the social groups to which they belong. And the redundancy of violence. I think in general the fact that, for example, we can take the example of martial law in Afghanistan, which is the prostitution, the martial law that been imposed by the government led to the prostitutes to face death penalty at the end of their action, which is, I can consider this as cruel and inhuman punishment that is done in the name of justice. And also, punishment does not have to involve violence, because justice is not about satisfying the emotional need, and it can be argued that revenge, anger, and emotion is not justice. And lastly, an action of utilitarianism. A person should be punished only if the punishment benefits the majority. The punishment should help to deter future harmful conduct, which can be the positive side of it. Therefore, punishing a criminal is justified only if it is result in an increase of pleasure for the society by deterring future harmful behavior. So my conclusion is that reason is justified to an extent for reason to justify decisions, because I believe that there is no pure reason. And I also believe that in different cases there can be different interpretations of what the extent to which it is justified, because we can intertwine reason and culture and reason together to justify our decisions. Yeah. And my limitation in analyzing this question is that there may be some subjective arguments which is influenced by my morals and values.
Good work, Arnold. Questions? Yeah, question. Hand today off. Question?
Is equal to less. You mentioned about how there's you could get you did mention that there are subjective arguments there. Have you considered any examples of any subjective arguments?
For example, which is like based on my values and morals, that in intervening foreign nations basically is not justified to an extent, because you have to consider the emotional need of the people and the situation of the country in order to intervene.
Other questions? Can you go back to your Q&A again? Sorry. Arnold, can you tell me why the conclusion that you've come to is significant?
Because we cannot use reason solely in justifying decisions. Because we also, for example, use emotion to, for example, the example that I used was famine in Ethiopia. That we also base rationality on our feelings that we need to help other people.
Any other questions? Do you have any personal examples where you use reason to justify why you do things you do?
Like, for example, the simple example would be like going to school. Yourself. I use reason that I have to go to school in order to gain knowledge and in order to graduate. Which is, yeah. I mostly base my justification on reason.
Okay, well done, Arnold.